The other day, they were playing a song from Beautiful outside, and people were singing along, and I said, wait a minute, that's not a show tune. I said, well, yeah, it is a show. Now it's a show tune. And I thought about, I recently saw, just before it closed, the Jersey Boys. And you really made those pop songs into show, you working with the librettist and everybody else involved in the production. But what is the process, what makes a pop song into a show song, and how much does the director have to do with that?
First of all, I'd like to say that there's no recipe for any of this. And if I can just take a step back from that, going back to your first question about vision, I think every project is different and perhaps even profoundly different. Joanne Akalaitis, who ran the Public Theater for a while and was one of the directors of Mabu Minds and brilliant woman, she coined the phrase aesthetic general to describe what a director does. And I think you're often at the hub of the wheel, but you learn quite quickly that you're very dependent on your collaborators. It's a collaborative art form. And so a lot of your job has to do with bringing the best out in them. And there is always this kind of matrix of talents and skills that creates a show. And just to point that out, Pam, I had the pleasure of having Pam as an assistant. Tina and I have worked together for years, and she's helped me on projects, and I've helped her launch projects. Kathleen and I, we actually have dinner together and have had long discussions about projects that have nothing to do with musicals, by the way. Diane was actually an assistant to Kathleen. To Tina, I'm sorry. I know, see, I'm getting confused already. So there's always this sort of collaboration, and it's an art form that exists in real time. We practice our craft as Bob Dylan points out in his book, in the eternal present. So it's all about, relationships. There's no pathway to a musical. I did a musical that's based on a how-to book once. I've done a musical, Who's Tommy, which is based on a rock opera. Jersey Boys is in fact a biography. If they were four physicists, as Marshall Brickman points out, there would be no songs. They happen to be a musical group, and it's a biography. In fact, time was, you might call that a history. Celebrity in our country, regardless of the Palace Theater and the King of Rock and Roll and so on, has replaced royalty. And so we tend to focus on those characters, famous actors, musicians. So the thing about, and I could get into this and bore you to tears, and I won't, but the great thing about having a song selection like the pop songs from Jersey Boys is you have these wonderful songs that are proven hits over decades. When it came time to do Dreamgirls, I think if they could have had the songs for the Supremes, they might have been tempted to grab them. So it's a kind of privilege to work, with great material of any kind, wherever it comes from. I just want to correct one thing too. Since the last 10 years, I've done more plays that are not musicals than musicals. When you do musicals, they're very visible, as Pam's about to find out, and they tend to kind of nullify the other things that you've done. My favorite productions over the last 10 years include a number of things that have nothing to do with musicals. The great thing, though, about doing a new musical, and I've had this experience more often than not, is that you're often thrust into the middle of the creation. And so it's a shared vision, but you're creating generally signposts. You have to have dramaturgical skill. With that particular show, Jersey Boys, we were designing the show as the script was being written. There was a lot of cross-pollination. We started basically with an outline, and I was an artistic director at that point, and more than happy to go on the odd suicide mission. So I put that into production before we even had a script. And that can be thrilling, and I think that's the thing that's addictive for directors about, you know, with musicals. It's a kind of a social thing, and so once you get a taste for that, you really like you really like doing them. I wanted to say, in terms of Jersey Boys and Beautiful, I don't always like this term jukebox musical. I thought that it seems derogatory, and musicals have always been somewhat discriminated against. You know, for a long time the resident theaters wouldn't even do them. They were considered, you know, a kind of lower art form. If you read the criticism of Walter Kerr, he always considered it a somewhat easier thing to do than drama. And I think 30 years ago, perhaps following a chorus line, attitudes started changing, and musicals were taken, you know, more, you know, kind of seriously. But I think we're always, you'll watch with musicals, a musical will be a big hit, everybody will be talking about it, and then 2 years later it'll be kind of that old thing, you know, and so the term, I think, jukebox musical applies to a story that's made up, to, you know, to string some songs together. I think Jersey Boys is in fact a biography, and we had no choice but to use those songs.